Morning. I want to talk today about, I studied a long time. I didn't get anything, and then I picked up a book, and it captivated me because it was right on the subject that I was on, which is how God works it with me. And I want to talk about how our story will be written. I buried somebody this week, my husband's mother, and I have pondered that a lot. I've lost my mother, my father, my grandparents, and I had people that I loved that were completely different in character, in the way they lived their lives, the way they handled themselves. And I always ask myself this question through my life: how will my story be written? What kind of story am I writing? Because right now, each one of us are writing our stories and writing what God will say about us, what people will say about us. And the way that we write or live our story or our life, it matters. And we're not an island. Everything that we do affects everyone around us, positively or negatively. And we're responsible for that. You know, my mother didn't do a lot in her community, but I had a grandmother that did a lot in the community. And because of that, it made a difference in the area around her and the people around her in her community. And how we live our lives in every area, socially, in our house, morally, it matters. And the way we live affects especially our children and our children's children. It affects everyone around us positively or negatively. And I found something magnificent, and I hope that you see the treasure in it that I did. And in Ephesians 1:4 it says, "And without blame before him in love," that we should be holy and without blame before him in love. And I love that because how have I lived? Has my life been without blame? And how will our story be written? And John Wesley writes about Richard Burke, a faithful laborer in our Lord's vineyard. Listen to this. I love this. "A more unblameable character I have hardly ever known." A more unblameable character I have hardly ever known. That's beautiful. Such a thing to be written about a man. "In all the years that he has labored with us, I do not remember that he ever gave me occasion to find fault with him in anything." Now that's magnificent. Let me read it to you again. "I do not remember that he ever gave me occasion to find fault with him in anything." Now that's a man of great character. "He was a man of unwavered diligence and patience." He was a man of unwavered diligence and patience, and his works follow him. I love that. And each one of us right now, we're writing our story. How we live, how we treat other people, how we react. You know, sometimes I drive impatiently. Like when this car over here needs in my lane, and he didn't give himself time to get in my lane, and he didn't want to be behind everybody, so he rushes up ahead, and I don't let him in between me and the car in front of me because he doesn't deserve to be in front of me. Probably you guys never do that, but I drive impatiently. And I have an inappropriate attitude because I drive really fast and I follow the car in front of me, and I don't give that car beside me any space because he should have just went behind me, right? Do you hear all that? But I'm incorrect. How do we write our story? How is it going to read? Were we good to people? Did we love them? Were we long-suffering? Did we have understanding? Did we give people the benefit of the doubt? And when I die, will you say that I loved you, that I was good to you? Let it carry cared about you, that I noticed your pain? Was I too selfish? These are the things that matter. Sometimes in America we go so fast, we get so wrapped up in our lives, and we get so wrapped up in making the next dollar, or being famous, or looking good, or being skinny, or belonging, or not belonging, or only saying the things that we know the people want to hear instead of saying the truth. And so this whole week I have pondered that in my heart. How will my life read? Will I be pleasing to Him? Will He be able to say those beautiful words that we want to hear? Well done, my good and faithful servant. These are the things that matter. And yet we let life take us, and we let life do things to us. And we don't remember that the only life that matters is the one that's been pleasing to Him. And when we stand before Him, if He can say those words to us, well done, my good and faithful servant. See, it says that Enoch in Genesis 5:24, Enoch walked with God and he was not. Genesis 7:5 and Genesis 6:22, it says Noah did all the Lord commanded him. Isn't that beautiful? Did all the Lord commanded him. 2 Kings 12:2, Joash did that was right in sight of the Lord all his days. I want a good story to be written. Our life to matter. I want to be honest. I haven't always been. I want to have integrity. I want to make sure that I understand that my life is writing a story. And at the end of my life, I want that story to be pleasing.